Well, Andy, I guess first of all, just what is your expectation for the defense in terms of a scheme? I mean, keep what you guys were doing, or go to 4 linebackers or 6 linebackers? What's the plan?
Yeah, let's get 7 linebackers on the field. No, you know what? I've spent a lot of time in the system that we've ran in the last few years, and feel really comfortable with that stuff and really like it. Obviously, we're always trying to develop and make little tweaks here and there to get better, and tweak things to make the system comfortable for the guys and really allow them to do what they're good at. So, but I'm very happy and very obviously fortunate, excited for this opportunity. This is the place where I played college football, and when I got into coaching college football as a GA, you kind of work your tail off and try to figure out, the things you could get better at, the things you need to learn, and you just keep working, and the opportunities and stuff that come your way, you never know what they're going to be or when they're going to be, but you just keep working. And when I got into it, my goal was to hopefully get a shot to do this someday here at this university, and so I'm very grateful, very thankful for obviously all the coaches that have mentored me and taught me, and for Coach Harsin, Kurt Absey, and obviously everybody that's given me this opportunity to be in this position.
It's obviously got announced pretty quick. I mean, I think it was actually announced before Marcel was technically announced down there. I mean, was this something that you kind of knew if he ever moved on? Was there any kind of plan in place where you thought this might happen, or how this kind of get done so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's always those possibilities, but like I said, with me, I just try to focus on the task at hand, getting better and developing as a coach, so I can obviously keep improving my responsibilities, my players, what they're doing in school and what they're doing on the football field. Coach Harsin's great about open lines of communication and development, and our goals as individual coaches, and obviously you guys have seen that, is guys get opportunities, and guys get opportunities and move on. They've done a great job here, and the cool part about being here is it usually opens up opportunities for guys that are currently here in this building to step forward in different roles as well.
Marcel was saying that you were basically his right-hand man and were very involved in a lot of the stuff. I mean, how involved were you with him last year, and how ready do you feel like you are for this?
Well, you know what, I owe a big thanks to Coach Yates. He was awesome to work with and work for, and we worked well together. And he's a back half guy, I'm a front 7 guy, and we would get in the lab, as we called it, and got on the board and looked at film and collaborated on the things that we needed to do, and we worked really well together. We got along great, and I'm obviously excited and happy for him and his new journey and stuff. But going forward now, it's not a one-man show. Coach Caldwell and I have been together for 2 years, and we feel really comfortable about what we're doing in the front 7. And he's got a lot of experience in football now. He's been around doing it probably as long as I've been alive. So it's not a one-man deal. And obviously now in the back half, we got Ashley Ambrose, who has played football for a long time. He's coached for a while. His knowledge in the secondary is pretty extensive, and even more so on top of that, he's a great person. He's fun to be around, and I think you guys will get the chance to see that when you guys get around him.
Has it been discussed whether you're still going to keep coaching linebackers as the DC, or will you guys try and bring someone in to fill that spot that you've left vacant?
Yeah, we're still working through that process, and we're in the middle of it right now, and really we're trying to find the best fit, in terms of, number one, a person that's going to be able to come in here and fit the mold of, the values that we believe in here at Boise State. Obviously, we're looking for a good teacher, a good mentor, and a guy that can recruit. So we're working through the middle of that process right now, and sorting some things out, but we feel good about where we're at with that.
When was the first time you started thinking that this is where you wanted to end up someday as a coordinator at Boise State?
As soon as I got into it.
Yeah?
Yeah, as soon as I started GAing, and you try to set goals for yourself, so you always want to be working towards something, right? But you set that goal, you set it aside, and then you go to work and you focus on the things you need to get better at. And that's part of the deal right now. Is not only do I look forward to being a defense coordinator and all the responsibilities that come with that, but even more so is continuing to develop personally, as a mentor, as a teacher. I look forward to that challenge. Being around the staffs I've gotten a chance to be around. I've been around some really good coaches. And I just continue to try to work to learn new things all the time.
Was that the top goal back then, or was there something beyond that? Wanting to be a head coach or anything that was beyond that, or?
That's a whole nother playing field there. That's a whole nother ball game. I love coaching ball. I love being around the players. I love, the X's and O's part of coaching. The recruiting part is competitive, and I like that. I like meeting, student athletes and their families and getting into their homes and seeing the environments they come from and all that stuff. I like the challenge I have right now, and it's going to be a great challenge for me, and that's what I'm focused on.
Given that was your goal way back then, what's this mean to you to attain that and be here now?
Just like anything else, like we tell our guys, hey, here's the beginning of an opportunity. Just like the recruits that are going to sign here, in a week and a half. They've reached a milestone in their life. They've, obviously achieved the goal. But it's just the start of a new opportunity, and now it's what do you do with that opportunity? How do you go forward from here? And that's really what I'm focused on right now. Is just can't wait to get back here and get with the players. Aside from speaking with them on the phone and stuff, and be around them more, and obviously get in there with our coaching staff.
Talking with Coach Yates, he said that he wanted to be, a few years ago, he said he wanted to be a defensive coordinator, and he said that he felt like he had to leave Boise State in order to obtain that goal. He felt like Coach K was the D coordinator, and Bob Gregory might be the second line. If anything, Coach K was going to move on. Yeah. A couple of years ago, you made the decision to stay here. At that point in time, did you kind of maybe see that path at all to where you could be a DC here?
You know what? At that point in time, I was extremely excited about coaching the linebackers at Boise State. And that really was what I was excited about. And for me, not only was it, here in Boise, Idaho, where my wife and I love living, and we want to raise our little girl. But I had the advantage too. I was here, so I knew the personnel. I knew the young linebackers we had at that point. And obviously everybody knows it comes down to the guys you have and the players you have. They make you look like a lot better coach. So. I had a little bit of the advantage there, in a situation where I knew who the guys were in that room. I've been around them a lot. And really, honestly, I wanted to work with those guys. I wanted to work with Coach Harsin and Coach Yates, and I wanted to be here in Boise, Idaho. And I was fortunate that it worked out.
Is this an opportunity for you to put your kind of stamp on the defense and make it, I know you said there's a lot of people that will be working with you, but a chance for you to kind of make it your own as well?
It will be ours. And that's really the way I look at it. It'll be ours. It'll be Coach Calvo's, it'll be Coach Ambrose, and obviously where we go from there. But it's going to be ours. It's going to be our play. It's about our players. We're here to teach them, to mentor them, and guide them. But it's about them. It's their defense. You know what I'm saying? It's them who creates this defense. It's them who creates the mentality. Are we here as leaders? Are we guiding them along the way? Yes, we are. But the way I look at it is that they're going to create who we are.
I know it's very early in the process, but you look at who you lost off last year's defense, and
right.
You're taking over a defense that was top 20 in total defense and points allowed. What kind of challenge is this for you?
Some big shoes, huh? we lost some really good players, and we have some really good young players that are going to have some big shoes to fill. But I'm excited for them. That's football, especially in the college game. You got guys that graduate or move on or decide to go to the NFL, and it opens up an opportunity for these young kids that maybe a lot of people haven't seen them play yet, but they're pretty good. They need to develop just like we need to keep developing overall. We get some really good players back too now. We get some guys in the secondary back that have played a lot of football for us, and that understand and know the system. We obviously get linebackers that have been playing since they were freshmen. So there are enough guys coming back that we feel really good about the leadership and where we could go here forward. And don't get me wrong, now we are very excited about developing the young talent.
You mentioned the recruiting. As a staff, what kind of challenge is this when you lose both coordinators and a secondary coach, and especially on defense? And I know you can't get specific, so we saw what happened last night. How hard is this kind of last 2 weeks here for the challenge you guys face to try to lock in this class?
Yeah, and this is January. and this is how it ends up in January every year, regardless if you have staff change or not. And staff change in college football happens a lot, as we see across the country. So, years in when we didn't have staff change, you get some, you lose some. It's part of the game, But most importantly, you got to have Plan B ready to roll, maybe Plan C. But that's what we are. We prepared for situations, and you just move forward with them.
I know it's up to the players, like you mentioned, but what's an Andy Avalos defense going to look like? What have you envisioned it looking like?
Well, you know what I think? Number one thing is we want our guys to have fun out there. We want them to have fun out there running around, communicating with each other. And when they get on the field, we want them to be prepared. I think one thing that we want to harp on is making sure that guys are preparing themselves so that when they get on the field, they can cut it loose. Because when you understand and you know what you're doing and you're able to communicate it, you're out there having fun, you're reacting, you're using your natural instincts, you're not having to think a lot. So I think one of the biggest things that we're going to work on this season is understanding, how to prepare. What are we preparing for? Are we watching opponent film? Are we preparing and learning more about offensive schemes? Are we learning about defensive schemes? Are we learning about our individual techniques? And so teaching them how to prepare themselves is going to be a huge thing that I think will pay off in the end once we get on the field.
You've known Kamale probably longer than anybody around here. What did you think of his decision to leave early, and how ready is he for that level?
You know what? Extremely excited for Kamale. It's been his dream, with a lot of these guys, and we say all along, let's focus. Like, we can't ask ourselves to do things that we're, if we're going to ask our players to do things, we need to do them ourselves. So we're sitting here talking about, well, what's the next step? I don't know what the next step is. I'm focused on what's that task at hand right now, and that's what we asked of Kamale. And obviously, he's been a great football player here for us. And when he submitted his papers, they came back with appropriate. Well, basically what the NFL said is he could come out definitely if he chooses to do that. I think it averaged out to be like a second round grade or something.
I got a question. What do you like on the defense going forward, and what improvements do you think they need to, going in 2016?
You know what, I like the fact that we've always been multiple, which helps us put our players into different positions to allow them to do what's best for them. If we can move guys around and a guy's good at doing this and he's good at doing this, it gives us the flexibility to move them around and do different things with them. Obviously, we got to eliminate explosive plays. That's always our number one deal. And but that's doing that is in fixing the issues within that is throughout the whole defense. If you focus on some of the small details, you hope in the end that really helps you. So small things have become big things. And so, as I said, going forward, just with preparing ourselves and really teaching the guys how to prepare themselves, I feel like, we can make a jump there.
Coach Yates leaves, and then you get promoted very quickly. Explain what those hours were like for you personally, that change, and did you have time to talk it over with your wife? Did you tell Coach, hey, I'll call you back? Or
there was no calling back now. It was like, all right, let's go. And I was excited. There was no callback needed. That phone rang. I saw who was calling me. I was like, well, here we go. And that's the way it's been since, until where we're at right now. And it's exciting. It really is. And obviously, my wife and my family is extremely excited about this opportunity. They've seen me grow up through this athletic department, through this team, and so they're excited about moving forward.
You guys are still 2 guys short on the road recruiting. What kind of things have you had to do to compensate for just the lack of manpower out there, trying to hit as many houses as you can?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a few more flights going on, trying to get to different people, trying to stay in constant communication with people. But I think we've done a great job of recruiting up until this point, and we've even kicked it into another gear here this past week. We're working all together as a staff, not only us out on the road, but we got great support staff here in the building that are doing a tremendous job right now for us. Antoine Murray and Taylor Tharp are awesome right now. And Darren Usher, they've been unbelievable for us right now here, holding down the fort at home.
What one more. What excites you most about being promoted to defensive coordinator? I mean, calling plays or anything like that?
You know what? Obviously, that's an intriguing part in it. I think the leadership role, to be honest with you, is exciting and intriguing to me. Is just, and really because I'm excited about the guys that I'm going to get to work with. Obviously, like I said, Coach Caldwell and I have been together in the front seven for the last 2 years. I've worked with Ashley Ambrose before in the past, and he's a good friend. Excited to be back around him, and then really being able to be around the players, not just the linebackers, and having the relationships with them that I have, but the defense as a whole.